talking about. Shannon, does he have a point here?
Yeah. And plus, he's speaking from firsthand experience. He's telling you something that he's lived. Skip, for the longest time, it was said black quarterbacks can't process information fast enough. They can't think on their feet like their counterparts. Skip, I grew up where I was more talented. I could throw the ball farther. I was accurate. I was more athletic, but I had to play a different position because the white guy needed to be the quarterback. Because he wasn't as athletic, he wasn't as good as I was, so you play that position. That's what happens. Think about how many guys have had to switch positions. The majority of the receivers in the NFL, Skip, they play quarterback in high school. Or cornerbacks. That's what they play. They play quarterback.
I agree.
And they have to switch positions. Look, and the thing is, Skip, there have been a lot of Lamar Jacksons that's come up in the last 50 years in the NFL that could have played quarterback. But because, well, you make a great wide receiver, you'll make a great running back, maybe you should switch to defensive back.
Some thought Lamar should have played.
Yes! Yes, the man won the MVP, and there was a general manager that's in the Hall of Fame said he should be a wide receiver. So,
and I'm sure he wasn't alone.
No. But that just goes to show you, Skip. Think about the guys that he's drafted. So he comes with a lot of credibility because of his draft background. You look at what he did in Buffalo. They went to 4 straight Super Bowls, tremendous drafts. You look at what he did in Indy.
You're talking about Bill Polian.
Correct. So for me, Skip, and that's the thing. So he's telling you what he's lived. He's telling you firsthand knowledge. So before you become dismissed, he's telling you what he's lived, Skip. And that happens a lot. A black athlete speak out, shut up and dribble. White athlete says something, shouldn't we hear him out?
Okay.
Somebody from my very network said that very same thing. LeBron James and other athletes were speaking out.
Not exactly your network, but close enough.
Close enough. Shut up and dribble. Drew Brees said something. Shouldn't we hear him out? Well, why should they shut up? Why isn't LeBron educated enough? Because that was the term. You're not a politician. Why should he be quiet? So Deshaun Watson said that's what happens. If we say something, we're not educated enough. We shouldn't do this. So for me, he's just telling you from firsthand experience things that he's gone through and what he's felt. And I'm sure he's talked to some of the other black quarterbacks, and I'm sure they can tell. Lamar Jackson can just tell you about this draft story about 3 years ago. His mama had to come out with a story. What did she say, Skip? He's a quarterback. He's playing quarterback.
Yep. I'm glad Deshaun spoke up and spoke out about this. Powerful quotes, especially in the context of what I hope is our racial awakening in this country.
Right.
Just a new racial sensitivity in this country. Okay, now my firsthand experience. This is why this is so ironic to me. I started out in this profession, the media business, out here in Los Angeles for the Times as a quote-unquote cub reporter back in the 1970s. Who were 2 of the first black quarterbacks I dealt with? One was Vince Evans at USC. I don't know if people remember Vince. He lasted in the NFL almost 20 years.
He did.
He was a starting quarterback for the Bears and sometimes starting quarterback for the Raiders.
He was with the Raiders when I got in the league.
He was in the USFL for a while, but Vince Evans was the MVP of the Rose Bowl one year when I was covering USC. Trust me on this. He was as fun. He was my go-to interview because he was dynamic. He was a powerhouse. He was a quote machine, and he had wisdom and insight way beyond his years. That's who I wanted to talk to when I was covering the Trojans was Vince Evans.
Right.
And then I got to cover a game featuring a young man named Warren Moon who went to Hamilton High School here in West Los Angeles and played up at Washington. And I covered a big game, Washington State, and I got to talk at some length after the game to young Warren Moon, who was dynamic. He was a powerfully spoken, smart young man who was forced to go to Canada to prove himself in your league and wound up in the Hall of Fame where he belonged. But my point to you was, these are 2 of the sharpest young men, I don't care what color they were, you will ever cross paths with in college football. Trust me on that. Both of them. Go-to speakers and leaders.
And Skip,
okay?
the thing what people don't realize, both of them could throw the ball. It wasn't like they were running the wishbone. Warren Moon was as good a passer coming out of college as any white quarterback that we've had coming out of college.
Okay, and then to your point, somewhere along that trail, I was sent, as I've told you before, a week to Grambling, Louisiana, to hang out and get to know this young man named Doug Williams, who looked like he was going to be the first pick in the draft.
Right.
Unfortunately, he fell in the draft because one prominent GM I called to get some quotes on him said, off the record, he doesn't have the mental capabilities to play this position in our league.
Right.
Well, that was the prevailing opinion.
Right.
And in some cases, it still is.
Skip, what was the general manager in baseball that said the reason why you don't have black
Al campaigns. Yes.
Skip, that was a prevailing theme, not just for quarterbacks, but black men couldn't think, couldn't process information like white, couldn't think as fast on their feet as white. That was the prevailing theme, Skip. So for people to say, oh, I never understood. And people, I check my timeline and say, Shannon, you making it worse by bringing it up. Skip, I've never heard a cure for any disease is by not talking about it. The doctor says, Shannon, you got cancer. And I said, hopefully, knock on wood, I don't. He says, I said, well, doc, what treatment we gonna do? We're not gonna talk about it. We're not gonna treat it. I want you to come back and see me in 6 months. You think I'm gonna get better, Skip?
Okay.
So how does not talking about racism, how does that make it go away?
Okay, so just for the record, the Donovan McNabb I got to know, I did not want him to shut up and dribble. I wanted him to talk. Right. Okay? Because I learned a lot from him.
Wasn't Donovan classy? And they booed the brakes off when they announced the pick because they wanted Ricky. If I'm not mistaken, they wanted Ricky Williams. They booed the brakes.